A warm bowl of soup feels like the picture of health, a comforting, easy meal. But for many of us over 60, that harmless-looking can of soup is quietly a major source of a blood pressure spike you might feel an hour later as a dizzy spell or a sudden wave of fatigue. This isn't about giving up a beloved comfort food. It's about taking back control. This hidden sodium affects how steady you feel on your feet, your energy for an afternoon walk, and even how well you sleep. It's a small detail with big consequences for our independence. In this video, we are going to perform a simple sodium audit on your pantry. You'll learn the #1 trick food labels use to hide the true sodium content. We'll cover how salt actually works inside your body to raise your pressure, and I'll give you simple, delicious low-sodium swaps. Stay with me to the end, because I'll show you a clever way to rescue a soup that's already too salty, so you don't have to waste food or money. There are no scare tactics here, just clear science and practical steps you can start using today, and we'll be clear on when a conversation with your doctor is the next best step. We're a community here, looking out for each other. If this is a topic that matters to you, take a moment to subscribe. And I'd love to hear from you. What's one health question on your mind? Share it in the comments below. All right, let's get into the 5 most important things to understand about canned soup and your blood pressure, starting with the biggest culprit hiding in plain sight. Coming in at number 5 is the most common misunderstanding on the grocery store shelf, the per-serving deception. You pick up a can of chicken noodle soup. You turn it over to the nutrition facts panel, a habit many of us have rightly developed. You skim down to the sodium line and see 480 milligrams. You might think, okay, that's a bit high, but manageable. But here is the critical detail nearly everyone misses. Right at the top of that label, it says servings per container, about 2. That 480 milligram number isn't for the whole can you're about to pour into your bowl. It's for half the can. If you eat the entire can for lunch, which most of us do, you must double that number. Suddenly, your seemingly modest soup contains 960 milligrams of sodium. If the can says 2.5 servings, you're looking at 1,200 milligrams. This is how a single, simple meal can deliver nearly your entire recommended daily sodium intake in one sitting. For those with high blood pressure, the American Heart Association recommends aiming for no more than 1,500 milligrams per day. That one can of soup just used up the majority of your budget. Imagine this scenario. It's lunchtime, you're feeling a little tired, and you reach for that can of minestrone. You eat the whole bowl. An hour later, you stand up to go to the kitchen and feel a head rush. Your ankles feel a little puffy. You might brush it off as just being tired, but it could very well be your body reacting to that sudden, massive influx of sodium. So, here is your first practical step, your new rule of thumb in the soup aisle. Always look at 2 numbers first, the sodium milligrams and the servings per container. Multiply them together. That new total is the real number you're working with. This single habit will change how you shop forever. It puts you back in the driver's seat, making a truly informed choice, not the choice the food marketer wants you to make. If that final number is over 700 or 800 milligrams, you may want to look for a better option. Now that we can see the true amount of sodium we're dealing with, let's move on to number 4 and understand what that sodium is actually doing inside your body. At number 4, we have the simple mechanism, how sodium physically spikes your blood pressure. It's easy to hear salt is bad for blood pressure and just accept it. But understanding the why is what makes the advice stick. It's not abstract. It's a physical process happening inside your blood vessels. Think of your circulatory system, your arteries and veins, as a complex network of garden hoses. Your blood is the water flowing through them. When you eat a large amount of sodium, your body's natural response is to hold on to more water to dilute it and keep its internal fluid balance stable. It's a basic survival mechanism. So, that extra water you're now retaining gets pulled into your bloodstream. This means you now have more fluid, more water, running through the same sized garden hoses. What happens when you force more water through a hose? The pressure against the walls of that hose goes up. That, in its simplest form, is high blood pressure or hypertension. For someone whose arteries are young and flexible, they can expand a bit to accommodate this temporary extra volume. But as we age, our blood vessels can become a bit stiffer. They don't have as much give. So when that fluid volume increases, the pressure spikes more dramatically. This is why you might feel the effects so directly. That increased pressure can cause headaches. The fluid shift can make your ankles, feet, or hands feel swollen and puffy. This is called edema. It can even make you feel off balance or dizzy because the delicate pressure systems in your ears and brain are affected. It's not in your head. It's a direct, physical consequence of a sodium overload. Your heart also has to work harder to pump this larger volume of blood, which over time can lead to strain. Your practical step here is one of awareness. The next time you have a high sodium meal, just notice how you feel 1 to 2 hours later. Do you feel bloated? Is your wedding ring suddenly tight? Do you feel a little more sluggish than usual? This isn't to create anxiety, but to connect the dots. When you can feel the direct result of an action, it becomes much easier to make a different choice next time. This is your body giving you direct feedback. Learning to listen to it is a powerful skill for managing your own health. So we know how to spot the sodium and we know what it does. But what about the soups that are marketed as being good for us? That brings us to number 3. Coming in at number 3 is a warning about the healthy soups trap. In our quest to make better choices, we're often guided by promising words on the front of the label. Words like organic, all-natural, vegetable, or even low-fat. And while these can be good things, they have absolutely zero to do with the sodium content. A can of organic lentil soup can sound like the perfect healthy lunch, but you might turn it over and find it contains 650 milligrams of sodium per serving. If the can has 2 servings, you're at 1,300 milligrams. That's an enormous amount, regardless of whether the lentils were grown organically. Food manufacturers know that salt is a cheap and powerful flavor enhancer. It also acts as a preservative, extending shelf life. So, they often use it liberally, even in products designed to appeal to health-conscious buyers. Here's a common scenario. You're in the store, deciding between a regular can of tomato soup and one labeled low-fat. Many people will instinctively reach for the low-fat version, assuming it's the healthier choice overall. But when fat is removed from a product, flavor is often lost. To compensate, manufacturers frequently add more sugar and, you guessed it, more sodium to make it taste good. You might end up with a soup that's worse for your blood pressure than the original. This leads us to a quick but important myth bust. You may see soups flavored with sea salt or Himalayan pink salt and assume it's better for you than regular table salt. While these fancier salts may contain trace amounts of other minerals, from your blood pressure's perspective, they are chemically almost identical to table salt. They all contain sodium chloride, and it is the sodium that causes your body to retain water and increases blood pressure. Don't let marketing convince you to pay more for a salt that has the same effect on your body. The practical step is to become a label detective who ignores the marketing claims on the front of the box. The only truth is on the nutrition facts panel on the back. Look for labels that explicitly say low sodium, which legally must contain 140 milligrams of sodium or less per serving. Even better, look for no salt added. This is the gold standard. It means the only sodium present is what's naturally in the ingredients, like the vegetables themselves. This gives you total control to add a tiny pinch of your own salt if needed, but you start from a much lower baseline. Now, what if you're at home right now and you look in your pantry and see it's full of these higher sodium soups? You don't want to waste them. This is where we get really practical with number 2. At number 2, we have the sodium rescue mission: how to dilute and fortify a salty soup. Discovering your favorite go-to soup is a sodium bomb can be disheartening, especially if you have a half dozen cans sitting in your cupboard. The good news is you don't have to throw them out. With a couple of simple additions, you can salvage that soup, dramatically improving its nutritional profile. The strategy here is twofold. We dilute the sodium and we add potassium. Potassium is sodium's counterpart in the body. It's a mineral that helps your body excrete excess sodium and encourages your blood vessel walls to relax. It's a true blood pressure ally. So, here is your rescue plan. First, dilution. Pour the can of soup into a saucepan on the stove. Now, add 1 to 2 cups of unsalted liquid. This could be plain water, or even better, a no-salt added broth or stock. You are instantly increasing the volume of the soup, which means each spoonful you eat will now contain significantly less sodium. You're watering down the concentration of salt. Second, fortification. While the soup is heating, we're going to add ingredients that are high in potassium and fiber. This is incredibly easy. A big handful of fresh spinach will wilt down to almost nothing and is packed with potassium. A can of no-salt added beans, like cannellini beans or chickpeas, just be sure to rinse them, adds potassium, protein, and filling fiber. You could also add some diced potato or sweet potato, which are potassium powerhouses. Even some frozen vegetables like peas or corn will work wonderfully. By the time you're done, you've transformed that 1 can of salty soup into 2 or 3 servings of a much more balanced, hearty, and healthier meal. You've stretched your food budget, reduced waste, and, most importantly, protected your blood pressure. If this tip is helpful and you want more practical ways to take control of your health, just take a second to tap the subscribe button. You won't miss our future videos. The key takeaway is that you have the power to fix it. Instead of a quick, salty meal, you have a slightly less quick but vastly more nourishing one. This simple rescue mission is a perfect example of taking a small, proactive step that can have a big impact on how you feel for the rest of the day. This leads us to our final and most important point. We've learned to spot the problem and fix it, but the best strategy is to avoid it in the first place. That brings us to number 1. And at number 1, the most empowering step of all, building your own flavor foundation. The ultimate way to control sodium is to move away from relying on pre-made, processed foods and instead learn to build incredible flavor from scratch without reaching for the salt shaker. This isn't about becoming a gourmet chef or spending hours in the kitchen. It's about a few simple shifts in how you think about taste. Salt doesn't add flavor. It amplifies the flavor that's already there. But there are so many other ways to do that. The foundation of amazing flavor starts with aromatics. Sautéing some chopped onion, garlic, carrots, and celery in a little olive oil before you add any liquid creates a deep, rich, and slightly sweet base that salt could never replicate. This is the secret to almost every delicious soup. Next, embrace the world of herbs and spices. Dried herbs like oregano, thyme, rosemary, and bay leaves add a savory, earthy depth. Spices like smoked paprika can give a wonderful smoky flavor. A pinch of cumin adds warmth, and black pepper provides a gentle heat. A salt-free lemon pepper or garlic powder blend can become your new best friend. Finally, think about acidity. A tiny splash of vinegar, like apple cider or red wine vinegar, or a squeeze of fresh lemon or lime juice at the very end of cooking can brighten up all the other flavors in the pot. It does a similar job to salt in making the flavors pop, but with zero sodium. Now, Let's put this all together into a simple, three-step action plan you can start this week. This is your at-home sodium audit. Step 1. Check your pantry. Turn around 3 cans of soup you currently own. Do the math. Sodium per serving times servings per can. Just see what the numbers are. No judgment, just information. Knowledge is the first step. Step 2. Know your numbers. If you have a home blood pressure cuff, a great goal to discuss with your doctor is keeping your readings consistently below 130/80. By reducing your sodium intake from processed foods like soup, you are taking a direct, powerful step toward achieving that goal. Aim for a daily sodium target of under 2,300 milligrams, or better yet, under 1,500 milligrams if you already have high blood pressure. Step 3. Try one flavor-building technique. This week, instead of opening a can, try making one simple soup. Sauté an onion and some garlic. Add a carton of no salt-added broth, a can of rinsed, no salt-added beans, and a handful of spinach. Season it with black pepper and a little dried oregano. That's it. See how satisfying and flavorful it can be. This is not about deprivation. It's about discovery. It's about discovering how delicious and vibrant food can be when its true flavors aren't masked by a blanket of salt. It's about giving your body what it actually needs to feel good and stay strong. So, let's bring this all together. The goal today wasn't to make you afraid of a simple can of soup. It was to empower you with knowledge so you can navigate the grocery store with confidence and protect your health. We learned that the per serving number on a label can be deeply misleading, and that doing the simple multiplication is the only way to know the truth. We saw exactly how excess sodium makes your body hold water, physically increasing the pressure inside your blood vessels. You now know that healthy marketing words mean nothing when it comes to sodium, and that your best bet is always to read the nutrition panel. Most importantly, you have a plan. You know how to rescue a too salty soup by diluting and fortifying it with potassium-rich vegetables. And you have the building blocks to create your own delicious, low-sodium soups from scratch using aromatics, herbs, and a splash of acid. These small, consistent actions are the key to managing blood pressure, feeling more energetic, and maintaining your independence for years to come. I'll link some plain language sources from trusted health organizations in the description below. Thank you for spending this time with me today. What's one thing you'll try first after watching this? Will you check your pantry labels or try making a simple soup from scratch? Let me know in the comments. Your story might just inspire someone else. And if you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who might benefit. Stay well, and I'll see you in the next video.